Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It depends where you are. I hope all is well at home and our candidates are learning and they are reading their books as usual. The hammer falls on forestry, but before we look at forestry, allow me to remind you on what we learned in the previous lesson. In the previous lesson, we learned about mining. And I said that mining is the extraction or removal of mineral from the underground for commercial purpose. I also said that a mineral is a substance which is obtained from the underground for commercial purpose. We went ahead and looked at examples of minerals, how they are obtained, and places where they are mined. For example, we discussed about copper in Zambia. We talked about the method of mining copper. And I said that when the mineral is found deep underground, we use shaft method of mining. And when the mineral is found near the earth's surface, we use the open cast method of mining. Copper is not only mined in Zambia, but also in Uganda. So in Zambia, we use shaft method, and in Uganda, we use adit method of extraction to obtain copper. Remember, I also said that the main problem facing copper mining is fluctuation of wild prices. Copper in Zambia and Uganda. We discussed about diatomite, and I said it contains a living organism that is a fresh scalaceous water organism made up of algae and diatom. I said that the main purpose of diatomite is to make water filters. Discussed about limestone in Bamburi. We discussed about fluorspar, and fluorspar is the second largest mineral export after soda ash, and soda ash is in Magadi, that is Lake Magadi. We use dredging to obtain soda ash from Lake Magadi using a machine known as dredger. We also look at the contribution of mineral to the economy of Kenya. And I said the main contribution of mineral to the economy of Kenya is that it earns the country foreign exchange. Like for example, when we export soda ash to India, the money that we obtain from the export is what we call income. So that is a foreign income. This money is used to pay for the imported goods like machineries from Japan. So therefore, the main contribution of soda ash to the economy of Kenya is that it earns our country foreign exchange. I believe that is just but a bit of what we learned in the previous lesson. So today we are going to look at forestry. But before we look at forestry in class 8, allow me to say this, that in class 7 we learned about forestry in Swaziland and forestry in Democratic Republic of Congo, that is Zaire Forest. Zaire or Congo Forest is the largest equatorial forest that we have in our region, that is Africa. Equatorial forest is characterized by convectional rainfall. The trees are evergreen, and the main reason why the trees are evergreen in equatorial forest is because of high amount of rainfall which is always experienced in this region. The area has also been characterized by hot and wet type of climate. Remember, Congo Forest lies within latitude 5 degrees north and 5 degrees south. It is made up of indigenous trees. When I'm talking about indigenous, I'm talking about hardwood, the natural forest, as compared to the forest we have in Swaziland. I'm saying that DRC comprises of indigenous trees. This is natural forest. When the trees in DRC or in Congo forest have been destructed, the immediate effect will that the volume of water in River Congo will reduce. The main reason behind the destruction and the immediate effect of destructing Congo forest is that the volume of water in River Congo will reduce. Why? Because River Congo or River Zaire rises from Congo forest. So when you interfere with the trees in Congo forest, it is as if you are interfering with the volume of water in the River Congo. And remember, River Congo is the largest river in terms of water volume. So it comprises of natural forest, hardwood. And Swaziland, as we learned in class 7, remember, Swaziland attained her independence in 1968, and these all started in 1830s by King Sobhuza I. But we are not talking about political development, it is all about forestry. So in forestry, that is in Swaziland, we discussed about Shishelwene, the pig tree, the Mondi tree, and the Great Sapi Osutu complex. Those are the 4 major planted forests that we have in Swaziland. When you are asked to state the 4 major planted forests in Swaziland, we can talk about the Sapi Osutu, that is the Great Sapi Osutu complex, the Mondi Forest, the pig tree, and Shishelwene. Those are planted forests that are found in Swaziland. So you realize that lumbering is an economic activity, and this is planted forest, so we can use the trees which have been planted there to manufacture papers. So that is a bit of what we learned in class 7, but today is all about forestry, and that is in a candidate class. So maybe to begin with, I'll say this, that a forest is an extensive piece of land that is covered with the trees. An extensive piece of land that is always covered with the trees is called a forest. And we have the practice of planting and taking care of forest. So the practice of planting and taking care of forest is called forestry. So sometimes you can be asked to, state the meaning of forestry. What is forestry? Differentiate between a forest and forestry. I've said that a forest is an extensive piece of land that is covered with the trees, while forestry is the practice of planting and taking care of forest. Currently, less than 3% of the total land, that is the total land surface of Kenya, is covered by forest. Only 3% is covered by forest in the Republic of Kenya. And this is far below in the international standard, which requires that every country should have at least 10% of its total land surface under forest. And that is why you can see the government of Kenya preserving or conserving the natural forest, and like for example the mangrove forest along the coast. Why is mangrove forest along the coast conserved? The mangrove forest along the coast has been conserved by the government of Kenya to protect the rare species of trees, the lowland forest in the Republic of Kenya. The lowland forests are always found in coastal region. Like for example, we have the Arabuko Sokoke, we have the Shimba Hills, and we have the mangrove forest. These ones are lowland forests which have been conserved by the government to protect the rare species of trees. And when you talk about natural forest, the natural forests have been also always been conserved by the government to protect water catchment areas. So after talking about forestry like that, so we need also to know types of forests in Kenya. And there are 2 main types of forests. We have natural and planted forest. Natural and planted forest. I would like candidates to open page 108, page 109. There is a map of Kenya which has been drawn there. It shows the composition and the distribution of types of forests which are found in Kenya. And allow me to start with natural forest. As I said when I was talking about the forestry in DRC, I said that natural forest consists of indigenous trees growing on their own. Indigenous trees growing on their own, meaning this kind of trees grows without human effort. So these forests are found in areas that receives high rainfall of about 1,200 millimeters. The tree species are mainly hardwoods that include the Meru oak, mahogany, Elgon teak, and camphor. Examples of indigenous trees: hardwood, Meru oak, Elgon teak, mahogany, camphor, obeche, etc. etc. These trees take a long time to mature. Hardwood always take a long time to mature. They can even take like 40 to 50 years. So natural forests found in Kenya can be grouped into 4 categories, and they can be grouped as follows: 1, the tropical rainforest; 2, the mangrove forest; 3, the coastal tropical forest; and 4, highland or mountain forest. Remember, mountain, alpine, or the rest. So to start with, we're gonna start with the highland or mountain forests. This type of forest is found on the slope of Mount Kenya and Elgon. Highland or mountain forests is found on the slope of Mount Kenya, Elgon, the Aberdare, Nyandarua ranges, the Kaptagat, Mount Marsabit, Kipkelion, Tinderet, Mau, and Cherangani hills. Examples of mountain forest or highland forest in the Republic of Kenya. Highland forest or mountain forest in Kenya are as follows. We have Mount Kenya forest, Mount Elgon forest, Aberdare or Nyandarua ranges forest, the Kaptagat forest, Mount Marsabit, Kipkelion forest, Tinderet forest, Mau forest, and Cherangani hills forest. Those ones are examples of highlands or mountain forest. Number 2, we have the tropical rainforest. The tropical rainforest is densely covered with tall trees standing among short ones intertwined with climbers. Yeah, I've said that the tropical rainforest is densely covered with tall trees standing among short ones intertwined with climbers. A good example, we have Kakamega forest. Yeah, it's a good example of tropical forest that you have in Kenya. Okay, then we have the tropical forest, the coastal tropical forest. When we're talking about tropical rainforest, this is quite different with the coastal tropical forest. The difference is that when you talk about the tropical rainforest is densely covered with the tall trees, while the coastal tropical forest, this is now found in lowland. Yeah, so the Arabuko Sokoke forest is a good example of a tropical coastal forest. Then we have the mangrove forest. Mangrove forests grow along the coast in shallow salty waters and many in Lamu. Yeah, these are some of these things we do see them with our naked eye. So it is always wise to encourage your pupils or encourage your children to always arcade where these things are being allocated. It will help them. Allow me to put whatever we have learned in a synopsis or in a summary, so that it can help your child, or it can help you, the candidate, to answer KCPE questions. Remember, I started by saying that a forest is an extensive piece of land that is covered with trees, and the practice of planting and also taking care of forests is called forestry. I also talked about types of forest in Kenya, and I said there are 2, that is natural forest and planted forest. I said that natural forest consists of indigenous trees. Indigenous trees meaning these are hardwoods, okay? And I said that the hardwood are found in areas that receives high rainfall of about 1,200 millimeters, and the tree, species are mainly hardwood, and that they include teak, camphor, meru oak, mahogany, elgon, and obeche. And we look at even the composition of natural forest, where I say that we have highland or mountain forest, the tropical rainforest, the coastal rainforest, and the mangrove forest. Next time, God willing, we shall look at planted forest. May God